Welcome to Corporate Agony Aunt, the podcast that takes the agony out of career progression and gives you the straight talking advice you actually need to thrive at work. I'm Izzy, your corporate agony aunt. Whether you're chasing a promotion, negotiating a pay rise, navigating office politics, or figuring out your next career move, this is the place for the career highs, lows, yeses, and nos. Hit subscribe wherever you're listening because your next big opportunity starts right here. First up, we're tackling your corporate dilemmas and how to handle them. The first one is, I love my job, but the pay is terrible. Should I leave? It's a tough dilemma. You're fulfilled by your work, but your bank account tells a different story. Job satisfaction is important, but so is financial stability. So the real question is, can you actually afford to stay in a job you love if it's not meeting your financial needs? The first thing you need to do is assess the full picture. Before making a decision, ask yourself, how bad is the pay gap? Is it just slightly under market value, or is it significantly lower than what your skills and experience deserve? Similarly, are there other non-monetary benefits that can compensate? Think about flexible working, work-life balance, professional growth, or an amazing team culture, or really good annual leave, which is very important to me. What's a long-term outlook? Can you expect promotions or raises in the near future, or is a salary stagnation a real concern? Firstly, I would explore negotiation. So if you love your job, but you need more money, negotiation should always be your first move. Many people assume that if a company hasn't offered more, it means they won't. But that's not always true. This is how you could start that conversation without feeling uncomfortable. Dave, I really love working here and I'm fully committed to the team. However, after researching market rates for my role and experience, I found that my current salary is below industry standards. I'd love to discuss with you how we can align my pay with the value that I bring to the company. Bonus tip. If they can't raise your salary immediately, consider negotiating. Bonuses, additional benefits, more paid time off, or professional development opportunities. Step 3 is knowing when to walk. If the pay gap is too big and there's no room for movement, it may be time to explore other options. Loving your job is important, but financial stress can quickly turn passion into resentment if you feel undervalued. So look for similar roles at companies that pay better. Passion and fair pay can coexist, but you don't always have to sacrifice one for the other. I would honestly consider freelancing, side gigs to supplement your income if you want to stay ahead but need extra cash. And remember, your loyalty should never come at your own financial expense. The power move here is that passions don't pay the bills, so you have to balance both. Our next corporate dilemma is, I want to switch careers, but I'm scared to start over. Is it too late? Right. Career changes can feel overwhelming, especially when you've spent years building expertise in one field, but the idea that you start over from scratch, that's a myth. You need to recognise the skills that transfer more than you think. Most people underestimate how many of their current skills apply to other industries or professions. So you might not have direct experience in a new field, but chances are you have valuable transferable skills from your old field. A few examples of transferable skills: project management, useful in everyday industries from tech to marketing to healthcare; people leadership, it works in HR, management consulting, any team-based roles, client-based roles; analytical skills, a strong foundation for finance, operations, any data-driven roles; creative problem solving, great for strategy, innovation, product roles. Instead of thinking, I don't have experience, please just reframe it as, how does my current skill set apply to what I want to do next? Start small before you jump, so switching careers doesn't always mean just quitting immediately and going cold turkey. You need to take online courses and certifications to gain industry knowledge, shadow someone in the industry to find out if you actually like it, or do freelance work to see if you enjoy it first. Leverage your network, talk to people who've made similar moves and ask how they did it. What you need to do really on a granular level is reframe your CV and your experience. So your CV and LinkedIn should highlight the relevant skills to the new opportunities you want to apply for. Employers care more about what you can do than where you've done it. An example of how to pitch yourself in a career switch might be, in my current role, I developed strong project management and leadership skills, which are essential for tech. I've also taken the initiative to complete whatever relevant certification to deepen my understanding of the field. I'm excited to apply my expertise in specific skill to contribute meaningfully in this space. What you also need to do is accept that fear is normal, but it shouldn't stop you. It's so natural to fear change, it's human nature. But ask yourself, why are you making the move? Most people that do career changes later in life wish they'd done it sooner. The reality is you're never actually starting over, you're just evolving. It's never too late to bet on yourself, and we've got a really long career ahead of us. So most of us will make 5 to 6 career changes in our lifetime. Next up, we have our corporate confessional segment, the part of the podcast where we share anonymous mistakes from people to demonstrate that you are only human and we're all just guessing what we're doing here, okay? Mistakes don't have to define our careers. In fact, they're moments that go past very quickly, and here's an example as to why. In my very early career in finance during 2001 and 2002, a few of us work colleagues used to email funny pictures to each other. At that time, there was no internal email restrictions. Anyway, I had forwarded quite an obscene picture to the group, not knowing that I'd accidentally CC'd in a top manager. Long story short, I was suspended for a week, had a HR meeting and apologised. The issue was to remain on my record for a year and my manager would be given access to my emails. I left the company 2 years later as the issue was still being held against me and my progress within the company. Now, that is a pretty big mistake, and honestly, the lesson here is to not learn from mistakes, but learn from this one. Sending anything on internal comms or emails that is not appropriate or not professional can really get you in hot bother, and companies really do reserve the right to punish you at their discretion in terms of penalties, disciplinaries, time out of the office, suspension. So if I was you, the best place to go is to not do any of this. Even if your colleagues are doing it, don't join in. Ask to be taken out of email chains. Remove yourselves from group chats. Please don't be complicit just by being a passenger. Next up, we have our interview power move masterclass. Now, something I get asked all the time is how to nail a pitch deck during a presentation. More and more companies are asking us for pitch decks for interviews, and it involves a presentation which can honestly be daunting, but with the right approach, I think this is one of the best opportunities to make a lasting impact. Here's a step-by-step on how to ensure you present with confidence and clarity, and you also fit the brief. My first bit of advice is to read the brief, then read it again, and read it one more time. Before you even start designing your pitch deck, I don't want to see Canva. I just want to see a notepad where you fully understand what is being asked of you. Read the brief carefully at least 3 times to ensure you grasp every detail. Write down key points and expectations so you don't overlook anything. If anything is unclear, please don't be afraid to ask for clarification. It matters because misinterpreting the brief can derail your entire presentation and you're out of the room before you've even stepped in it. You want to ensure that the pitch aligns exactly with what the interviewers are looking for. Secondly, the biggest bugbear I have is when we give a strict 10 minutes for an interview presentation and it ends up being 20. If they give any 10 minutes, do not go over. Practice to make sure your timing is spot on. Be mindful of pace. Rushing or dragging can impact your delivery, but consider that when you are in an interview situation, you do speak a little faster than when you practice. Try and rehearse with the timer to make sure you cover all your points off, because running over honestly suggests poor time management, and a too short a presentation just makes you feel underprepared. Anything that's obnoxiously long will put people off you, whether they like you or not. Keep the slides clean and minimal. Less is more. You need to stick to the time limit. One of my biggest bugbears, are we timing this? One of my biggest bugbears is if they've given you 10 minutes, do not go over. Please, when it's obnoxiously long, it's so annoying, especially if the start of it was really good. Be mindful of pace. Rushing or dragging can impact your delivery, but rehearse as if you're in an interview situation where honestly you typically talk a little faster than when you practice. Running over does suggest poor time management, and a presentation that's too short may make you seem underprepared. Please just try and aim for 10 minutes on the dot. If you want to go for 9 minutes, 30 seconds, it allows you a bit of bandwidth to run over. When it comes to slides, less is more. Please avoid walls of text. Use bullet points, phrases, or visuals instead, because I'm going to lose interest quickly. Keep the slides visually engaging but not cluttered. Don't allow me to read the slide and ignore what you're saying. And try and aim for one key message per slide. Your voice should do most of the explaining. Interviewers need to focus on you, not reading paragraphs of text on a screen. They'd already done that with your CV to shortlist you. Practice your delivery. Rehearse multiple times, alone, in front of a mirror, with a friend. Have cue cards with prompts to stay on track without sounding robotic. Don't memorise word for word. Instead, focus on naturally delivering and understanding the key points. A well-practiced delivery makes you look confident and prepared rather than reading directly from slides and having to look behind you for the prompts. You need to master the introduction. First impressions matter. It's a hill I'm willing to die on. Your opening statement should be clear, engaging, and confident. Start with a really strong hook. Why should they care about what you're about to say? Set the tone by outlining what your pitch will cover. If you lose your audience in the first minute, really and truly, you're going to struggle to get their attention back, whether people like to admit it or not. Attention is so important, but you need a brilliant introduction to really hook them in. And lastly, in the pitch deck, people always get a bit confused when it comes to values and mission statements and vision. They feel as though that needs to be accommodated into their ideas. But I think your pitch deck should not only demonstrate your ideas and skills, but it should reflect your values in conjunction to the company's. Weave in examples of leadership, problem solving, company aligned values. Make it clear your approach is driven by purpose, ethics, innovation, company culture, whatever matters to the employer. Don't just say, I am good at teamwork. Demonstrate your teamwork ability through your presentation. And I say this before and I'll say it again, please record yourself presenting. We all have a phone with a video on it pretty much. Use your phone or your laptop to record yourself delivering the pitch. Play it back to spot nervous habits, pacing issues, or anything that's unclear in terms of delivery, and take notes and adjust accordingly. Self-feedback is super powerful, but no one ever does it. Watching yourself objectively really helps you refine both your content and your delivery. Lastly, confidence comes through preparation. A pitch deck interview is as much about your presentation skills as it is about the content. Follow the steps to ensure you deliver a clear, engaging, and confident presentation that makes a lasting impression. You want to create a moment of magic, not a moment of mediocrity. And remember, an interview is a two-way process. Please treat it that way, because then the power dynamic will shift and they are assessing you and you will be assessing them. And I promise you it will disarm you in that stressful environment. Next up, we have community questions where producer Georgia looks through our socials and sees what you're asking us on a daily basis. Georgia, what do we have today?
I need help with articulating my thoughts in work.
If you want to articulate with more eloquence, what you need to do is work at that. When did you last work at how you speak? I can guess that it was never. Yapping to your friends on the phone is riddled with colloquialisms and lazy speech, assumed speech. It doesn't help you practice. You need to practice a way that emulates a meeting environment or speaking with colleagues. Some of the best things that I do in terms of enhancing my vocabulary, the way in which I speak, my pitch, my pace, my volume, my tone, my intonation, is by mirroring or listening during podcasts. So someone whose delivery I really enjoy in terms of podcasts and who speaks at a similar cadence to me is Stephen Bartlett. I will listen to his podcast and think about how he speaks. I will listen back to recordings I have done on podcasts. I will listen back to videos I've done, and I will assess how I speak, and I will actively try and change facets of my vernacular and my vocabulary. Practicing how you speak is a really important skill. There are so many incredible TED Talks on public speaking, and we hold public speaking as this really high thing that we hold in high regard, but everything we do on a daily basis is public speaking. Calling to dispute a phone bill, public speaking. Going to the gym to sign up for a membership, public speaking. There are so many instances where speaking in public is part of our daily life that actually investing time in it will permeate everything that we do, not just our professional life, but our personal life too. How was that, producer Georgia?
Amazing. Have you got any tips for a generalist? I jump between startup, consulting and e-commerce, all in different roles.
I think if you are a born generalist like I am, you need to embrace that. You need to be unapologetic in your generalism, but in order to do so, you have to be able to articulate it. You have to be able to say and pitch why it is that you are the type of person that is a safe pair of hands that can turn their hands to anything. Because in this day and age, a generalist has a huge space in the workplace. With automation and technology coming in, people need generalists to be able to apply more broad brush projects, implementations, plans and strategies, rather than just the really niche things that specialists are able to do. There'll always be place for specialists, so this is no hate to you. But if you find yourself as a jack of all trades and feel like a master of none, what you need to master is your generalism. What you need to master is your ability to turn your hand to most things and do a really good job, because that is a brilliant skill. If I'm a CEO with a reduced budget for staffing and I'm looking at who to hire from a lineup of candidates, and candidate number 10 can demonstrate time and time again when they've flipped from this industry to this industry, to this profession and to this one, I'm going to take a punt on them because they have proven a track record of being a generalist and generating results. It's all about results. Specialisms are fantastic. I wish I had one, but I don't. And we just need to learn how to embrace our generalism. The fact that that person has jumped from X, Y, Z industries just demonstrates to me that they are one of the most adaptable, flexible, diligent hires that I could hire. And I would love to have them on my team, quite frankly. How was that, producer George?
Yeah, that was great. I've got another question that a lot of people might be able to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so stressed and constantly afraid people at work like to work with me.
Mm-hmm. People at work like to work with people that make their jobs easier. Stop focusing on whether that person likes your outfit, the television or Netflix shows that you watch at night. the choice of boyfriend or girlfriend that you have. No one cares about that. The thing that people care the most about, the thing that is the most underrated skill at work, is being easy to work with and being helpful. Focus on that. People will learn to respect and like you on that basis, and then the little anecdotes and the friendships and the softer skills and communication can come after. So often we central our worth around what people at work think about us personally. You need to stop caring about that. You need to care more and above and beyond what they think about you professionally, because that is fundamentally what will contribute to your growth and your career progression. It's so nice to work with people that we want to like us, but let them like you for the right reasons. Let them like you for your work. Let your work speak for itself and build relationships after. I promise you, in 5 years, you'll barely know these people. You'll wish you'd not spent time worrying whether they like you or not, and you'll just wish that you were doing great work you can be proud of. I promise you, try and decentralize yourself from those people. Is that it for today?
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, producer Georgia. That's it for today. I hope this episode helped to kickstart your career glow up. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our future career tips and tricks. Share this with a friend who's also navigating their career journey or job hunt, and let's build an unstoppable community of professionals who know how to win in the corporate world. There are extra resources on my website and the links in my bios to help you land your dream job and tackle your corporate dilemmas one step at a time. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time on Corporate Agony Aunt.